Sounds like a plan.
All right, welcome everyone. We are now live and recording. This is a Fun Blab Social Talk Live. I'm Andrea Vall, and I'm here joined by the lovely Phyllis Khare.
I'm under here. I'm under here somewhere. My sister rocks the hats, though. I have to tell you, I need to come look in her closet a little more.
Okay, you do the hats, I'll do the wigs. We got it.
Okay.
We're done.
All right. It sounds like a plan. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Sam. Hello, everyone who's joining us. And also to you who are listening in to the recording. Hello. We are talking today about 3 tools to write irresistible blog titles. And blog titles are huge. If you can get people to click on your blog title, if you can get them over just with a tweet, you don't have much time or much space. Blog titles are ultra important to driving more traffic to your site. So we are here to talk about blog titles.
And we have a lot of information about this. It's very interesting through time because you and I have both been blogging since 2009.
Yeah,
8, 9?
8.
In internet years, that's 100 years ago, right? And So we've been blogging a long time. And I think when we first started blogging, the titles were very technical and they weren't as important because we figured people would just come anyway, somehow, and read our post. That the title wasn't, and then when the space started getting crowded and more people were blogging, then you had to be more competitive in how your title sounded. And then the next stage of that was the keywords in your blog post had to be, the SEO had to be the most important thing, right? So it's in the evolution from 2009 to 2016. It's already gone through several stages. And you and I just took a workshop recently that further defined that for us. I think that making it even more technical to create that title that really makes people want to click over.
Yeah, definitely. There's templates that we kind of went through that were definitely interesting, and I think that. So yeah, let's get into the content. Let's talk about.
Let's do that.
Yeah,
let's do that.
Actually, and let me just also. Is anyone else hearing an echo? Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of echoey.
I am. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like you're in a very big room.
Okay, I'll double check my microphone. I thought it was all right. So. Let's check that. So why don't you talk while I change that? But we're going to talk. Also, I want to just let people know that if you have a question, you can type \Q and then ask your question, and it'll appear on the left side there. And then we'll get to all those questions. So.
And those of you who want to join us on screen, we'll do that in a few minutes too, right after we deliver some of this content. And you don't have to wear a hat. And you don't have to wear a wig.
Although, bonus points if you do. Go get your wigs. Come back. No.
Clothing, though, is required. So very important that you do that. That's great. So let's think about this a little bit. So I always say, think about your own experience. When you are presented with lots of things that are vying for your attention, what is it that makes you click on something? And once you start noticing your own behavior, it becomes very clear which types of blog titles really are clickable, the ones that they're irresistible to your audience. So there's a couple of parts to that. I just want to explain those little parts, and then I want to give you some tools, because this is all about the tools, right? And thank you so much for all the little props and stuff from people. I appreciate the props. Okay, so there's 3 things you really need to know before you craft your title for your blog post. Now, some people start with the title. Some people write the title after they do the blog post. Either way works. But you have to know the specific audience that you're speaking to. This is really kind of important. You have to be able to reach out and activate that audience to come and click for your problem. And now, these days, you have to be very specific about the problem you're going to solve. And somehow you have to put that specific audience and that specific problem into a title that definitely has at least a keyword or two about your general topic. So it's a little bit like baking a cake. You have to know your audience, you have to know your problem, you have to know your keywords, and then you have to craft this title. Now, so there's a bunch of tools about that, which we're going to get into, but does anybody have a problem with understanding like a specific audience, specific problem, and keywords? Is that understandable to everybody? You just nod your hat and we will know. And we will know. Yes, give us props if you get it. If you have a question about that, because a lot of times people say, all of womanhood, here is a blog about children. Well, that doesn't make sense. You always say, moms, here's a blog about your children, right? So you always have to be very clear about the audience. Carried the weight of the world on her hat and won the heart. Oh, that's so sweet, Jason. Oh, that's so Jason. I'm not being squirrel here, but that deserves a star. So, do we want to just jump into the tools? I'm happy to jump into
some of the tools. Yeah, let's just jump into some of the tools that we're going to talk about.
Okay, so if you just do a Google search on title generators, blog title generators, it's like this huge long list. And every now and again, I'll just do that because there are new ones that come up. And so there are some that are, everybody knows about, like keywordtool.io. Everyone knows about that one.
Let's not assume that everyone knows about it. All right. Let's just put it in the keyword tool. I'm going to put that in my chat.
Okay, good. So it's keywordtool.io. And the interesting thing about keywordtool.io is that it has sort of a free view and a pro view. So if you are blogging for money and this is your business, then you probably need that pro tool. But if you're just interested,
sounds like I'm blogging for money. I don't know.
Blogging for money, fishing for money, fishing for money. So, for example, I went on there a little while ago. I have a person in my family who's starting a business, and it's loose leaf tea. Now, I almost always do searches in my industry, right, for social media management. But I put in loose leaf tea in the keywordtool.io. There were 299 unique keywords and keyword phrases that come up in Google. So, for example, loose leaf tea infuser, loose leaf tea bags, you get the idea. Loose leaf tea pot, loose leaf tea maker, all of this. So those phrases, you need to take those phrases and put them on a document because you're going to use that to craft your title, right? So you need some of those keywords that have to do with your product. Now, these keyword generator, where you find the keywords, again, if you have Google AdWords, and you can just do that through your AdWords system. But if you don't use Google AdWords, keywordtool.io is a good place to start. So that's kind of like step one, is to know your keywords. I just want you to know that this particular tool also has a tab for YouTube. And if you look at the YouTube keyword phrases, they're a lot different than a Google search. So these are things like loose leaf tea brewing, loose leaf versus tea bags. There are things that really you could show in a video. So you might want to go and get a bunch of those phrases too. And that's step one, is to have your keywords.
That's awesome. Yep. I love that. I think it's interesting too to search, like you said, by the different search engines, so you can see how they're different. So it's
cool. They even have a tab for Bing. So go for it.
Yeah. So I think also one of the things you want to look at is so knowing the part of step one that you're knowing your keywords is how are people finding you already? So look at your own keyword tools, either through Google Analytics or if you had some sort of stats program on WordPress. Hopefully you do. So take a look at that and get some ideas on how people are finding you already, and then what keywords you want to be known for too.
Right, exactly. I mean, we could spend several months doing the keyword workshop, right? I mean, it's a pretty involved subject.
Yeah.
But we like these blabs to be tight and give you some content to go. And so So the second thing you need to do, now, if you're a creative person naturally, you could pick up any magazine or anything and look at titles and replace the noun with your noun. You know what I mean? You could just play with it. If you're not a writer, you could just do that. And there are these wonderful title generators. Like I said, if you go on Google and just Google title generators, there's bunches of them. Now, a lot of people know some of them, but there are some new ones that I just want to discuss real quick. There's a really cute one. Let's see if I can find it for you. It's and I'll put it in here. It's the it says SEOpresser.com, and I'll put that in the chat for you. And this time what they do is you put in your keyword, and then they ask you, is it a brand? Is it an event? Is it an industry? Is it a location? Is it a name? Is it a skill? So they help that way. They give you titles that are more relevant, because sometimes these title generators, they bring back all sorts of crazy,
bizarre things.
Right?
Yeah.
So this one, let me go ahead and copy it, and I'll put it in the chat for you. And then you can go and take a look at it, and you can see how it allows you to further define before you hit that title generator button. It gives you an option to really hone it down some. That one is really cool. And then there's one more that I wanted to show you. And this one is Tweak Your Biz. Tweak Your Biz. And this one is interesting.
It's different than twerking your biz, right?
The first time I read it, I saw twerk. So that shows you where my mind is, right? So this one is really cool because it probably brings back the longest list out of all these title generators. It's just like down the page, right? And so you can get a lot of information. Now, once you get that stuff, once you use those title generators in step 2, then you have to this is where you kind of have to do the work a little bit, because there is work involved in this. Yeah. Is you have to look at those, and you have to find the ones or figure out the ones that really work or the ones that really help you. Now, most of these title generators, and this is really important, do not specify that specific audience. So, for example, this one says, apply these 10 secret techniques to improve loose leaf tea. Okay. Well, you could say, foodies, apply these 10 secret techniques to improve your loose leaf tea business. Okay. So you have to put in that specific audience into these. They don't create those for you. You have to add that in. So for step 2, it's really title generator plus specific audience. Okay. So that's kind of an important thing to do.
Right.
All right. So that's step 2. Does everybody understand that step about how they can use title generators for this whole thing? Does that make sense?
So step 2 is to know your audience then.
Well, it's to use the title generators and add your specific audience to the titles that are generated.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so it's title generators plus specific audience.
Yeah.
And then that's where you have to play with it. Now, this next one is, and actually the last step, which is a very interesting step. And the people who do this, who actually go the extra step to do this, will be rewarded for their time and effort with a much better blog title. And I got this tip from Ian Cleary. So, we can tag Ian on this and say I talked about him. We'll just talk about Ian. So, Ian has his tool that he found that grades the emotional impact of the title. And the closer it is to 100, the more people are compelled to click on it. So when I lead these workshops on blog titles, we go through steps 1 and 2, and we get these titles. Then we go over to this tool I'm going to share with you in just a minute and grade it for the emotional impact. And every time people at first they're like, oh, I got a 20%. They get real depressed. But what happens? But then they start working with it, and they get it up to 40, and then they get up to 50, and then they get up to 60. And if they can get up to 60, they can use it. And so what we did in the workshops is we took the old blog posts that they use, we put it in the emotional grader, and they were all like bad, just like very bad. And then we played with that title, made it better, put it back in, and it was always way higher emotional. And people were getting way more clicks, they were getting more shares, they were getting more comments, because that title now had an emotional impact on the reader. So the tool is this one right here. Let's put it in, and you can go and take a look at how that works. And I checked this tool this morning. I hope it's still working. Sometimes you give, and you can right now, you can go take one of your blog posts titles and put it right in there, and you can get a grade, and then you can be depressed, and then you can, and then you can say, oh, that's why nobody clicks on my titles. Oh, that's why nobody shares my stuff, right? And then you can work with the title and see if you can get that grade up higher and see what you get going.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So this is the emotional impact tool. Is the third step. Emotional impact tool.
Yeah,
it's step number 3.
Now, what about like just also analyzing your headline with something like co-schedule?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Was it you were going to talk about that, or no?
No, I'm happy to talk
to
talk about that one, because that's a freaking awesome tool. Now, see, a lot of this they've put into one gizmo, right? So you can find keywords, you can test the titles, you can check the intelligence on it. So, but a lot of people don't use co-schedule, or they're not paying for the pro version, which I think you have to do, right? I'm pretty sure. I haven't checked because I pay for mine. So let me see if it's a free tool or not.
It's a free tool.
It's a free tool.
Free.
Awesome.
Free.
Right.
Yeah.
So what they've done is they've sort of taken all these steps that I've outlined here, and they've attempted to put it inside of one tool. It's an awesome tool. Absolutely awesome tool.
Yeah.
And take that tool, those blog headlines that you have right now, go there, type in the headline, and the cool thing is they really grade and analyze it and give this whole report kind of thing. It's amazing what people create for free on the front end for lead generation. You know what I mean? It's just really very nice, really very nice.
Yeah, it's great. That's definitely great. So
here, did we put Did we put the link in the chat? I can do that right now.
For co-schedule?
Oh, you already put it in. Okay,
I put it. Good. So awesome. So let's just review for those people who are just joining us. We kind of have a 3-step process. Is knowing your keywords. So going in, taking a look at your keywords, either what you're already attracting, maybe doing a little keyword research on that. For what you want to attract, what you want to be known for. And Mr. Wonderful over here, which I love that, Mr. Wonderful, that's great, has a question we'll get to in just a bit. But know your keywords is the first step. Step number 2 is to use these tools and do title generators, and making sure you're adding your specific audience, make sure the specific problem is in there. And then step number 3 is to then analyze your headline with some of the tools that we talked about. Now, this is kind of a tool focused blab here that we're doing. We're talking specifically about tools that can help you. We're not saying that you have to use all these tools every single time, but they could be a real great way to get started and help you brainstorm. There's other ways to kind of research tools and come up with tools. We could talk about just writing, magnetizing headlines in general, kind of what works, and then also kind of tie into the keywords to help you get ranked for those.
Yeah, there's one thing very cool about the co-schedule tool that none of these other tools provide for you, and that is they take your title and they show you how it's going to look on Google. All right, so they're going to show you what it looks like in the headline. They're going to show you what it looks like. So that, just seeing that visually, you can adjust your title that way. So that's one part of that co-schedule tool that's very cool. You want to talk about using numbers in blog titles?
let's talk about numbers. Let's talk about numbers because that is huge.
Let's take a vote. Which number do you think is the best number to use in a title? I'm going to say numbers, and then you type in there which number you think it is.
You think is the best.
Yes. So do you think it's 5? Do you think it's 7? Do you think it's 3? Do you think it's 10? Do you think it's 4,765.3? What number do you think it is? Keep going. No one said it yet. No one's typed it yet. No one's typed it yet. Oh my gosh. No. Think about it. Okay, I want you to think about it. You're going online. You're scanning through. Somebody got it. Woohoo! It's the number 3. And we just attended this workshop, and they said the reason the number 3 is the best number to use in a title is because it conveys that there's information available, but it's not too much, and that we'd be able to get through it and understand it, and it's consumable, right? Yeah. And so that's why it's important that it's 3.
So odd numbers are also easier or better in general because there's a loop. I think we're trained to like even numbers. There's a loop. It's a little bit different, a little bit unusual. So you'll see a lot of odd numbers, 7 things, 5 things, 9 things. Those are good in general. So I think that, they can be very, very compelling. And, honestly, really it's really about your content too. So if you have 7 things that you really want to cover, you can cover those. I think they can work. Sometimes blog posts that have like 101 things, that's a big number, but it feels exhausting, right?
I don't even click on those anymore. So if you had 7 things that you wanted to convey in a post, what I would do is I would put the 3 vital things you need to know, and then in parentheses I would put and 4 bonus cool stuff. Like I would make it equal 7, but I would lead with the 3, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's right. And so you notice Scott what we titled this.
Scott saw that 3 things. 3 tools. We covered more than 3 tools. We had 3 steps. That was it. 3
steps.
Yeah.
3 steps with 4,000 tools. Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
Yes. So make it 7, but put 3 in the title and put the other 4 as like bonus, as like bonus stuff or extra stuff or sub of the 3, so that people will click. So that's the whole point is you want people to click, and if they see a 3, they go, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do this. Yeah.
So let's get to some questions. We're actually, just to kind of let people know about how we're scheduling this new Social Talk Live show, we're going to try and keep it around 45 minutes. And we're going to have some content at the beginning. Then we open it up for questions. People can jump in the seats. If you've got wigs or hats, that's encouraged. But clothes are also required. So let's open up some questions. We've got one from Mr. Wonderful. If you do have a question, you can do /Q, and it'll show up on the left-hand side if you're attending live here. His question is, can you explain how to use keywords in your blog?
Am I a co-host?
You are.
So that we can put that question right there.
Yes, you can. There it is. Can you explain how to use keywords in your blog? So definitely, I think the headline is key. When we're talking about Google searches and Google ranking, what they look at is headlines, anything that's H1, H2, which means like subheadings, those definitely get better ranks. So if you can put those in the headline parts, but then also make sure it's in the first paragraph, make sure it's in your meta description. Don't keyword stuff by just repeating the keyword over and over and over. Then you'll get downranked for that. But definitely, there's lots of tools out there for analyzing how well your keywords appear in your blog post. One is Yoast by SEO Yoast plugin on WordPress. Actually, let's link to that.
Lucifer,
that's what I use.
Give it a break.
You're getting a lot of props.
Lucifer is trying to get my attention. I see you, Lucifer. Trust me, I do. The other thing that you can do, and this is something that I teach bloggers how to do, is you do all that research on the keywords in your industry that are going to be important for your business or your service or your product or whatever it is. Go away. And then you keep those on a list. Now, as you build your blog posts, go to that list and make sure that you're pulling 5 or 6 or 7 of those long tail keyword phrases and putting it into your blog post in context, not as stuffing in any way, but as context. The other thing you really need to do is whenever you upload images for your blog post, you absolutely need to take your name and your main keyword and put it into the the alternate title for the image. Okay, so because Google crawls through that, and then if someone looks through images, they're going to see your name and the keyword that you're trying to build authority around. Right. So there's lots and lots of ways to use keywords in your blog, and hopefully that'll get you started.
Yeah. So one of the questions came in from Phoenix was what would you say is the best site to use as a blog?
Your blog platform, yeah.
Yeah. And Jackie over here says WordPress with the Genesis framework. That's actually what I use as well. I love that. I love their site. Is awesome. So, but I think WordPress in general is the best. I mean, I think definitely you want to be on WordPress. That's my 2 cents.
Right now, until another system can provide some of the things that you really need for blogging, it's really the top of the list. There's several other underneath it, but depending on your even if you're in e-commerce, you're totally in e-commerce, then you would do WordPress with a Woo theme for e-commerce or something, or a Shopify plugin for that. So it's still WordPress no matter what.
Right.
Hosted WordPress, not
yes, hosted WordPress. So not just the free WordPress site.
Yeah.
If you are on the free WordPress site, it's very easy to go into the just transfer that to a hosted site where you have a little more availability in terms of different templates. You have more plugins available to you, and sites that are hosted are not that expensive. So those are some definitely some good things there. So yes, Phoenix, I know you have to learn WordPress.
That's great. So let's see, what else about blog titles? What's a blog title? Give us a blog title of yours and we'll help you fix it. There you go. Go find a blog title. When I do this work, sometimes I have to go back and redo all of mine.
Yeah, I know, right? So let me, while we're getting someone to take a blog title where we kind of talk about ways to kind of make that better. Let's talk about some other tools that I like to use around researching blog titles. One, I just love this tool, so I talk about like every single time I talk about tools, is BuzzSumo.
Oh, yeah, I have that up on my tabs too. Yeah, because that's an awesome tool.
So BuzzSumo is definitely a tool that I like, because what it does for you is you just put in a keyword and then it shows you what's getting the most shares through on what articles are getting the most shares. So you can see what's attractive to people in your niche with those keywords, what's already getting a lot of shares, and you can definitely expand on that, use that for brainstorming. So that's
now the interesting thing about BuzzSumo, if people haven't been there before, is that you can, so if I do it live here, which is always not a good idea, but if I do it live here, you get information for a little bit for free, and then they sort of lock it out a little bit so that you can't see some of the numbers unless you go pro. So just be aware of that. But as far as what's been done previously, this is, an awesome place to see. There are so many ways to look at BuzzSumo, because you can actually sort by Twitter. You can sort by Facebook shares, or you can sort by total social shares and see which things are most popular on different social sites and see how that looks. What the title that looks really good for Pinterest is not necessarily the title that looks really good on LinkedIn. So that's the reason you can sort those and see what's more popular in the social site that you're interested in.
So we're going to work on Phoenix Tears 321 Phoenix blog title, That's Meshed Up Bro. So
yeah, that needs some work.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't even know what that means. So, I think that the title does have to speak to the promise that's going to be in that blog title or in that blog content. So health, yeah.
See that is so obscure that no one, even people who are interested in your stuff, is going to catch it. So
the dangers of it, you really want to kind of speak to the dangers of. So 3 dangers of using, I don't even know what that is, but
so
anyway.
So I think there's a difference between your blog title and your blog post titles. This is, I think, where she's mixed here, is that we're talking about the blog post titles. Your blog can be called something a little more obscure if you want it to be, and because that's not as important, it turns out, as the actual titles of the posts. Okay, so that's the difference. So your blog could be called Monster Mesh, but your blog posts need to be 3 reasons why moms need to know about this specific thing. So it has to be more specific to a specific problem, a specific audience, and a specific problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think definitely that, that if it's, women's health, like I think you want to kind of, because someone may not know about it already, then you need to kind of like talk to them about the issue that you're going to present about in that blog post specifically. So yeah.
And there's a great question over here on the side. Does that help you, Phoenix Tears? Hopefully that will help. Get social, you're late. We're going to not points off you. Okay, so here we go. Here's a great question. Should the URL match the title, or do you edit it to make it shorter and use synonym keywords? This is what I usually do. If I have a really long blog title, I definitely shorten it. You can shorten it other places, but I actually shorten it for the URL of the blog post itself. And I try to keep the keyword that I am trying to rank for in this post in that shortened version. Now, but let's say I cut it in half in terms of size. It might still be too long. Then I might also use either Pretty Link to make it shorter, or I might use Bitly or other things to make it shorter. But on the blog URL, I keep the main keyword that I'm ranking for. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's perfect, because when you share it too, because if you're sharing it on like social or something like that, or email, then it does look cleaner. But you want to keep that keyword, that main keyword you're looking to rank for, in that shortened version. And I'm not a good example of that, because my blog posts are super long. I haven't filmed that whole thing yet. Anyway, but I think it's a good idea in general. A lot of blogs do that. They just shorten it up, but keep that main keyword in there. So awesome.
Yeah, it helps. Unless all you write about is one thing, and then you can't do that. You know what I mean? The blog won't let you have 14 blog posts that are phylliskhare.com/blab. So
right.
That doesn't work.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, do we have anyone with hats or or wigs, and preferably all the clothing on, who would like to join in and ask a question. I'm going to unlock the seat, and if you'd like to join in, you can jump in if you've got those qualifications. Monica, let's have you jump in there. Oh, yes, we've got a hat. This is awesome.
Finally, on Blab.
I know, I saw you had a hat, so good. Good, well, welcome.
Okay, so what's your question?
Or did you just want to say hi?
Yeah.
You can say hi too.
Hello to everybody. Just feeling fine. It's you gave wonderful tips, pro tips for blogging, and I'm about to start a blog, and that's why I was asking before. So you need to find a host like WordPress, and then you need to use a tool to set up a site or whatever.
Yes, a theme.
So what I would recommend, my favorite hosting companies are Bluehost and HostGator when you're getting started. They both have really good support, in my opinion. I know there's lots of opinions out there, but they also make it very easy to install your WordPress site. Like you first you go and get the host, you purchase the hosting, and it's only $5-6 a month, depending on what kind of package you buy. So you buy the hosting, and then when you get in there, it's a little crazy. Just don't worry, it's a little overwhelming. That was my feeling. You can go and get your WordPress site installed. They can actually help you do that. Like click on to install WordPress, and once you get WordPress in, then it gets a little bit easier, a little bit more manageable. And there's lots of people who can help with WordPress tutorials. In fact, WP Beginner is a great site for learning WordPress. And I'll put that in there.
We'll put that in the chat, the link to that.
Okay, so you need a host, and the WordPress is your tool to write it.
That's right. Yep.
Good luck.
Okay, got it. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your hat.
Welcome. Thank you for wearing the hat.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a question about blog titles and tools?
Yep, awesome. And Worth and Miriam is offering to help, so that's awesome. Lots of people. That's the benefit of WordPress, is lots of people can help with WordPress, so that's great. Good. All right. So any other questions? Anyone else want to jump in? Did I unlock the seat? Oh yeah.
Now it's unlocked.
Now it's unlocked. So if you want to jump in, bonus points for hats.
I think I might have to buy this hat from my sister. I mean, it's like awesome.
For those of you, I know, right? For those of you tuning in, we're going to be doing this every Friday at this time. It's the Social Talk Live show. We are going to have some fun. We may not wear the same wigs or hats every week, but we're going to have fun and talk marketing. So we're going to be doing this weekly show. If you have ideas for topics you want to learn about, let us know. Our next show is going to be, what is our next show going to be about? Let's see. What did we put that in there? I know it was something about Facebook. And so now I don't know what it is. Do you remember? I'm going to go look at it.
I'll have to go look at it.
I know.
Hang on.
It is our scheduled Facebook ads beyond the boosted post.
There you
go.
Beyond the boosted post. All right.
Beyond the boosted post. Okay, so let's let Women Centric in. And let's see. Advancing You. Hopefully coming in soon. Yeah, and she's got a hat too. It's the hat.
I went and got my hat.
Yeah. Excellent.
So awesome. I just found out about you ladies. I don't even know how I got involved to get invited, but it came across my screen. And of course, I have 9,000 things I'm supposed to be doing. But
of course, I know. That's how Blab is.
And I guess my question to you is, do you have any resources that you recommend for people who are getting into blogging that can help in general, because a lot of times people are lost about topics, forget about getting to the title. They don't even know what to write about.
Right.
So is there any favorites that you can recommend from that standpoint? Because I would like to share that with the folks that I'm interacting with on Women Centric, who are mostly business owners, but there are a few people on the career track. And they also, for their companies, have recently been charged with being more active and specific to blogging, to get the word out.
Yeah, so, one thing hold on, I think I've got an echo going on.
Yeah, there's an echo going on. That might be
multiple windows.
Do you have Woman Centric? Do you have headset? Do you have a headset?
I do. I don't have it right here. I have to go get it. I have to think.
Okay. Here's my tip. Just Andrea can't talk because she's in echo world. And I put the link in the chat, and that is I would go to problogger.net. Okay. And I would start there. They have a lot of free resources, a lot of free tools that kind of ease you into the whole concept of blogging and what it's all about. They have great courses. So I would say just start there. This is what they do, and they do an excellent job.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make that work.
And Copy Blogger too. Copy Blogger too has a whole system.
I have a few that I've told people about, but I always like hearing what other people are recommending.
Yes. Yeah. Great. Good. Excellent. Awesome.
Well, it was lovely meeting you guys. I'm sure I'll stop by. I hope you'll stop by mine. I'm having my first Blab on February 1st at 1:00.
Awesome.
Interviewing someone who happens to be local, but she's got a ton of Twitter followers, and she's just a fun gal. She knows a lot about LinkedIn, and I'm just going to test it out. How long have you guys been involved? How long have you been doing this?
In blabbing? Oh gosh, since the summer.
Okay. Yeah. So you're pro.
Yeah.
You're seasoned pros.
Well, yes. This is the first time we're doing an official weekly show. We've been kind of doing them. We've
been blabbing off and on and being in blabs, and I've been hosting blabs for clients and all of that. But now we're just doing it for us. So.
Oh, that's good. Well, I'll definitely try and stop in on Friday afternoons. This is a good time.
For fun. Yep. And bring your hats.
Yeah. Oh. And wigs.
Cute.
Awesome.
Nice meeting you guys.
Nice meeting you too.
Bye-bye.
So awesome. Well, we're a couple of minutes away. Let's see. Do we want to do a little wrap up on some of the tools we covered for the people just joining us?
Yeah, let's do the 3 tips one more time. So
tips one more time.
The 3 tools to write irresistible blog titles. And we talked in the beginning about how, first of all, you really need to know your specific audience and your specific problem first. So, before you dive into the tools, you really need to know that. So the first step is to get a list of your keywords. And we gave you a couple of tools around that. One that you can try right away is keywordtool.io. So that was step 1. And
step number 2.
You want to do 2?
Yeah, I'll do 2. Step number 2 was use those title generators and add your specific audience to them, because your title generators are not going to always bring that in for you, but you need to appeal to and sometimes name those people you're trying to reach. Not always, but sometimes it helps to do that, because a lot of times what I'll do is I'll say 3 things Facebook marketers need to know about XYZ. That could be a good title, because it's naming them. I'm a Facebook marketer. I'm a blogger, whatever. So that can be she brought in the Amin Institute? What is that?
It's the same one as the emotional
emotional thing, but it's how do you pronounce that? Amin Institute?
It's AI. Okay, hang on a second. I'm actually looking for when I posted it. I wanted to.
I'll post it again.
It's AmericanInstitute.com, and it's headline. And we posted it about 25 minutes ago, just so you know. Yeah. That's the one we posted for the emotional content. And that's our third tool in our 3 steps. So to take those title generators and that specific audience and put them together, then take them over to that aminstitute.com/headline tool and grade the emotional impact. So those were our three steps there. Well, it would be fun to do, Andrea, just so you know, we can make our own question that has our bullet points on it and pull it up as a question. So it's always up for people so they can always see the 3 things or whatever. Right?
We should do that.
Right.
Good
We
thing.
should do that.
We're learning good tips for our next Blab. So awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. This was so fun. We're recording it. Oh, yay, Women's Centric took all our tools and put them all our links. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for doing that. That's really, really helpful. So cool. Thanks, everyone. This was fun. We'll see you hopefully next Friday, and we'll be having some fun and talking marketing.
Peace out, baby.